Welcome to the summer 2018 online version of Communication 100. I'll be your teacher, Shannon Scott. As it said on the sidebar, you can call me Shannon or Scott, Mr. Scott, Dr. Scott, whatever works for you. This is my daughter Soren. You'll be seeing her occasionally in the class to help us out with some stuff, to give us some examples of what to do and what not to do, because she's a bit of a ham bone. Can you tell them a little bit about yourself?
My name is Soren Scott. I'm a fifth grader at Veritas School. And I am a competitive dancer, and I really enjoy helping my dad with his debate classes or online classes.
Cool. So your job today is to ask me some of the common questions that the students will need to get started on the class.
Okay, so the first question is, what will you guys be learning?
You're going to learn two big things. Now, people tend to call this a public speaking class, but that's only about half of what we do. We teach what's called a hybrid. That means we teach public speaking. We still cover the stuff about how to give a good speech and give a good presentation. But along the way, we also teach how to handle communication theories that have to do with things like conflict, relationships, even stuff at the end will be about things like job interviewing.
So the second question is, how is your online class different from the regular classes that you take during the school year?
That's a common question too, because how can it be a public speaking class if there's no audience? Now, some teachers approach this by making you, the students, go out and find real audiences to give the speeches to. And that's a noble idea, but it's not very effective. It tends to be more of a hassle than it ends up being worth. So since I know that you're not going to get the same feedback from an audience that you would get because you're using a camera, what I tend to do is just kind of focus on the fact that you're speaking on camera. More and more communication these days is being done electronically. For example, at the end of our course, we're going to do a job interview, just like one of the ones you'll probably have or have already had, because more and more businesses are using online technology to do job interviews to start off the process. So we're going to do a little bit of both. Teach you some communication theory, but also teach you how to give presentations in an online format. So we'll focus on things like how to do the video, how to upload stuff, how to potentially edit or add titles, things like that.
So the third question is, what will you students need for this course?
You're going to need three major things for this class. Number one, the textbook, which is an online free textbook. You can go to the link that's on the Foxtail page and go to the website that's a jump page, which means you can either view the website and watch everything through that method, or you can download it using PDFs or any other format onto many other devices. So number one, you'll need the textbook. It's huge. Don't worry, we're not going to use the whole thing. I'll direct your reading using the course schedule. The second thing you're going to need is a reliable computer and reliable internet connection. Now, that doesn't mean you have to have a perfect connectivity the entire time. A lot of the stuff that you'll do online, you'll be able to download or will be only text-based, and that's allowed. But for some of the bigger assignments, remember, this is an online class. So saying that you have technical problems isn't going to be an acceptable excuse because it's kind of the whole point of the class. A big thing that I'm going to coach you in is making sure you take care of stuff early and making sure that you always cover your bases so that you're not trying to download something at the very last minute or make last minute edits. The final thing that you're going to need, of course, is something that has a camera on it. Now, phones are doing just fine. So most phones have fine quality, meaning both the visual and audio quality are good enough that we can use them for our class. But you'll probably want to play around with what works best for you. For example, right now I'm filming this on an iPad using a coffee mug to hold it in the right position. But you can definitely play around with what you're going to need. Laptop, the webcams that are built in should be fine. Most phones, as I said, iPads, and of course traditional cameras. The big question you're going to have is, how do you then take the file and upload it? And we'll talk you through that process as we get into the first major assignment.
So the fourth and final question is, what should you students do to get started?
The number one thing they should do to get started is to scroll down through the bottom of this page and make sure that everything makes sense to you, that things are loading correctly on whatever device you're using. For example, if you're using an iPad or a phone and you're having trouble using the Foxtail page, you're definitely going to have to figure out how to make that work. You don't want to miss assignments just because the device you're on doesn't work correctly. The other thing is, because the class is so compressed in its schedule, if you start missing deadlines, you're going to have major problems because each assignment tends to immediately be followed by another big assignment. So go ahead and load in all of the major deadlines into an alarm-having device like your phone. Here's a quick tip. Just about everything that's due in this class is going to be due at 8 p.m. Pacific time. So that means that every single day, with some exceptions, you could always know that, hey, 8 o'clock is about to hit. Do I need to take care of something? That way you're on a regular schedule, and it'll also keep a lot of the assignments the same for each week. For example, quizzes will always be due on the same day of the week. So make sure you load your schedule up properly. The number one thing that makes a difference between doing well in an online class and not doing well is your ability to direct your own learning, because you are kind of going without a net. But that means you need to do the things to make you more successful, like scheduling. All right, any other questions or things they should know before they get started?
I don't know. Maybe how far apart the deadlines are?
Oh, the class is 8 weeks long, so they come hot and heavy. We have 3 major speeches, and they're split out basically 2/3, 2/3, 2/3.
Okay, that makes sense.
Cool.
I think we're good. And
Do you think they'll be okay?
yeah, I think they'll be okay. But if you guys do have any other questions that you feel like we should have covered in this video, just make sure, do they have
They can
comment
contact
section?
me through the email that's on the My Professor board or on the syllabus. But that's a good point.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching.